It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Thursday, the 9th of January. I'm Michael Groff. The primary concern in the short term for our weather will be cold temperatures in the overnight hours. We could see freezing or even sub-freezing overnight lows tonight, tomorrow, through the weekend. Then something of a warming trend starts for next week. We'll also see some breezy conditions this afternoon as that area of low pressure that brought the unsettled weather the last couple of days slowly begins to move on out of here. Now, we are in desperate need of precipitation. Will we see any next week? There is quite a bit of forecast uncertainty. We'll talk about that and everything else, too, as we dive on in. First, the almanac from yesterday. 68 degrees the afternoon high. 51 was that low temperature. 67 and 45 are the averages for this time of year. And officially at Sky Harbor Airport, a trace of rain in the bucket. But that does not end the dry streak. 140 consecutive days without measurable rain. And no sign, at least for a while, that that's coming to an end. As we look outside right now, just after 12 o'clock, it's a nice cool day out there with mostly sunny sky. 57 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew points 26, humidity 31%. For now, the winds are light and the barometer is steady. Satellite picture shows that upper level low that's brought the precipitation over parts of the state yesterday, and all that wind across Southern California the last few days, that tight pressure gradient. The good news is that system is beginning to move eastward. Now, it's good news for Southern California. It's good news for the pressure gradient, beginning to relax, and the winds will be dying down over the next day or so. But it's bad news for West Texas. I mean, they've got quite a wintry mess there. We've got light snow falling in places like Lubbock and Childress and up into the Panhandle, and kind of some freezing rain and sleet, just kind of nasty over parts of central Texas. And that system is going to continue to move east and bring winter storm conditions to the southern plains, the southeast U.S. But we're on the backside of this system, and we're going to see a couple follow-up disturbances pass by the Four Corners region, but we will stay dry with a northerly flow in place. The watch warning map, it's a mess. Okay, you've got winter weather advisories for a good portion of West Texas, winter storm warnings east and north of there. Those include North Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, into parts of the southeast, Tennessee, Mississippi, parts of northern Alabama, Birmingham up to Huntsville, and then east toward Atlanta. Could see some snow and then some freezing rain and sleet. It's just going to be a big mess with that system as it continues to move east. Now, here in the southwest, we've got a freeze warning over parts of southeast Arizona encompassing parts of Pinal, Gila, Graham, Greenlee, Cochise, Santa Cruz, and Pima counties. And also northwest Maricopa County up around Wickenburg in a freeze warning, and that's in effect from midnight tonight through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Elsewhere, we've got wind advisories along the Colorado River Valley and over parts of southeast California. We've got a high wind warning for, obviously, further west over much of coastal Southern California and some of the inland valleys. Red flag warnings in effect there as well. And so it's obviously a mess. The potential of wildfires will continue. And you've obviously seen the pictures. You've seen the devastation. And many of these fires are just not contained. We had winds 70 to 90 miles an hour the last couple of days. Now, luckily, those winds are already beginning to back off. But the fires are still not under control. And it's going to be a while before they can contain those because conditions are only slowly going to improve over the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, further to the north, we've got air stagnation advisories over parts of eastern Oregon and western Idaho, the Treasure Valley up there, obviously around Boise. Got that that cold air just trapped in the valley. It's just not mixing. It doesn't go anywhere. So you get that overnight fog, that freezing fog, and all that you often get this time of year. Convective outlook for today. There's no organized areas of severe weather anticipated, but some thunder over parts of southeast Texas. And the precipitation outlook around here valid through Thursday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing statewide. A little light precipitation as this low departs, but other than that, we should stay quiet until maybe right at the end of this 7-day outlook. We'll we'll talk about that and everything else right now as we get to the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go. It's the GFS. It's the 12Z run. It's valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. There's that low moving into the southern plain states, and that's going to create a big mess from Texas east into the southeast U.S. over the next day or two. High pressure sits to our west and northwest, a northerly flow between those two systems, kind of northeasterly flow. The pressure gradient's still tight, but it will begin to ease. So what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Players on the board are as follows. It's the same old story. I mean, look at the cold air that sits to the north of us. That's a 1041 millibar high over southeast Idaho. So you know the air is very dense, very cold there, and some of that is getting advected southward. But obviously, because of the mountains that sit out here in the west, most of that doesn't get to us. Still, high temperatures today, somewhere in the mid-60s, with some breezes out of the north. This afternoon, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. We could see a gust or two to 30. Obviously, stronger winds for parts of northern Arizona, out into southern California, along the Colorado River Valley. That's where those winds will be going on still today as well. And poor air quality for places like Yuma this afternoon. Be aware of that. Obviously, across southern California with those wildfires, air quality is going to be an issue as well. And you know all the hazards that are associated there. Further to the east, you can see that winter storm still ongoing over parts of Texas and Oklahoma and points to the east. Now for tonight, we'll be clear overnight lows, mid-30s to mid-40s. It's a tricky forecast because we still expect some breezes to continue overnight, and breezes tend to hold up temperatures, but if you're in the wind-sheltered areas, it'll be cooler. But we still anticipate a pretty wide spread of overnight low temperatures. It's one of those nights where we could see a 15-degree swing from certain parts of the valley because of the breezy conditions. And then for tomorrow, sunny, highs low to mid-60s as more cool air continues to get pulled on in here. And we'll see a series of disturbances passing by, mainly to the north and east of us, but that should keep the cool air reinforced over the weekend, so high temperatures low to mid-60s on Saturday. Keeping in mind, each of these mornings, especially Saturday morning and Sunday morning, we're going to start out in the upper 20s in the cold spots. I'd say upper 30s for the urban cores. So again, for a good portion of the valley, near freezing or even below freezing temperatures are possible. Obviously, downtown Phoenix, the airport, the typical urban heat island centers there, that urban core that we always call it, that's probably going to stay above freezing. But a lot of other places may not. So, not tonight, but I would say beginning tomorrow night, Friday night into Saturday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning, Sunday night into Monday morning, you're going to want to cover those plants for most of the valley. Again, if you're in the heart of the city, you're probably fine. But everybody else, if you have really frost-sensitive vegetation, I'd go ahead and do that because it's going to be chilly this weekend. High temperatures, again, will continue in the low to mid-60s Sunday and Monday. Tuesday, we'll warm it up a little bit. Highs back toward the upper 60s. Now, we have this upper low that's developing. Another system is dropping in from the north, closes off of the Southern California coast, and this should start to pull some moisture in here. And so by Wednesday, hey, look, got some green starting to show up on that map there, and I do believe we could see some clouds on the increase here during the day on Wednesday. Maybe even a few showers developing by Wednesday night over parts of Arizona if this verifies. And we've got some kind of decent model agreement that suggests that it might. Now, the exact positioning of such a low, when we're talking about 5, 6, 7 days out, that still remains to be seen. But again, we have talked about this for a little while. Signs are pointing toward at least an area of low pressure developing out here off of the coast. That's a good place for it to be because at least it can start to advect some moisture off the Pacific, and we could use that. So hopefully that does happen, at least somewhat as advertised. Now, these runs have flipped and flopped. The 06Z run was showing a bit more of a robust low. This is more of a progressive low that's going to come through because this is a week from today, Thursday, the 16th, and it's got this low kind of dampening out a little bit as it moves across the area, but that could still give us some scattered showers. I'd say most numerous across northern and eastern Arizona, of course, But we could pick up a little bit of rain with this feature. We desperately need precipitation. Almost regardless, I say almost, of how this works out. I don't think this is going to be, a big drought buster type storm system, but it could produce at least some precipitation. It looks a little bit more promising than the system that came through here on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we will have to see how that plays out ultimately. And then going out 10 days, this is Saturday, the 18th. And another area of low pressure is shown to develop kind of a weak, broad low somewhere off the Baja coast or Southern California coast, kind of stuck underneath this ridge that's still sitting out here. We'll watch that feature, but for now, it looks like we remain dry with temperatures probably warming back up at least a little bit. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this is off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 23rd of January, and, it's not real promising. The mean is under 1/4 of an inch. The European ensemble, very interesting. The control member is up at about 1.5 inches of rain. Goodness gracious. But the other 50 members, not quite as bullish. In fact, the ensemble mean is about almost 1/3 of an inch here. But signs do point toward a bit more of an unsettled pattern potentially as we get to the middle and latter part of next week. And I can hear you right now. You don't think I can, but I totally can hear you saying, I'll believe it when I see it, Mike. And I'm right there with you. All right, temperatures off the national blend of models at or below average for the rest of this week, this weekend. And then next week, we should warm it up a bit, maybe not quite as dramatically as what is shown here. That's going to depend. The national blend of models has been overperforming a little bit on temperatures this winter season so far. It's been off by a couple of degrees anyway. So we could probably take those down a couple, but either way, a bit of a warming trend is expected at some point next week, and then maybe cooling off a bit after that because of the potential of increased moisture around here. And that is a beat we can all dance to. All right, folks, that's it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make those monetary contributions to us, or you can donate directly via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It is groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name. It's Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, and tangentially Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description, so be sure to check that out. All right. Also, I want you to check out our streaming station, available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music. We have a lot of fun over there. Give that a look. Give that a listen. While it is linked up in the description, you can also just go to kmgx.com and listen directly via that avenue. And when you do, you might just hear things like this. There you go. That's all we can play. Otherwise, we get demonetized because YouTube just doesn't have a sense of fun. All right. That's it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe out there and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Thursday.